Hello everybody that ventured into this YouTube video. I'm going to try and show you very briefly how to sustainably create blended and flipped lessons using software that is mostly free for educators. About me, I've been teaching abroad for 10 plus years. I am completing a Master in Educational Technology at UBC, and more importantly, I teach in a fully ELL situation where 100% of my students do not speak English at home. They are not immersed in the language, so I basically teach English language in a foreign country. So if you're going through this example and you see, hey, wait a second, that isn't what they teach me in the textbooks, it's because it has to be adapted for my students. Okay, so what do I want to go over? I want to briefly go over the overview for creating flipped and blended lessons. I'm going to go through an example of a flipped lesson, and then I'm going to go through an example of a blended lesson. I'm actually going to give you a link in the description to a flipped lesson. Okay, the first thing you have to do in order for any of this to work is to create your weekly lessons in PowerPoint. I know this can be seemingly tedious task, but it is very useful. After that, you're going to select the slides for your flipped lesson. You're going to use a screen recording software to export it to YouTube. That's it. I personally use Camtasia 9 with the PowerPoint add-on, but you could use just the screen recording button in PowerPoint, and that is free for educators. Okay, on the other side, you select slide for your blended lesson, and then you just export those slides to Zeetings, which is a lovely application that I'll discuss later. And then you can add interactive elements with Zeetings and any other number of HTML 5.0 content providers. Okay, so create your weekly lessons in PowerPoint. This is my week 1 lessons this is my beginning of school type lessons. I do go through lessons 1 through 10 because I have 10 lessons in a week, and I do have an outline slide for each content area I want to go over. This is not necessary, but it is going to be very helpful if you do want to blend or flip your lessons. So the added bonus of doing this is something called the slide master. So you can actually change slide templates to do reoccurring tasks. So for vocabulary words, I have a specific way of doing it. I have to do I can statements for critical thinking and communications, my learning objectives, and they're all like placeholder text. It's actually very useful and very powerful, and it'll make the process go a lot quicker. But inevitably, you have to create your weekly lessons in PowerPoint or Google Slides or any number of these presentation creation software. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is select slides for the flipped lesson. So I have my slides that I want to use, select them, copy paste them into another presentation called flipped lesson, whatever you want to call it. Then you're going to use the screen recording software either in PowerPoint or an external application. And then you're just going to upload this to YouTube. As stated, I'm going to give you a link in the description to an example of this. Again, the example will be a little bit different because I use flipped lessons as homework assignments, not just to give prior knowledge to my students. As I stated, I'm in an ELL environment where I have to be very, very blatant about what I teach. So I use flipped lessons as a means of basically giving kids a double chance at learning. So this is what they are in my context. I'm sure in your context, it's possibly just a means to do a more constructivist activity within the classroom, but for me, it's a bit different. But that's really all it is. It's extremely simple because you're just taking selections from the lesson you've already created. Now, blended lessons, blending your lessons is like just putting them in PowerPoint is technically blending your lesson. But what we really want to do is create interactive elements to our lessons. For this, you're going to need like a BYOD policy, so kids are either using tablets, their mobile phones, or in my case, we get Chromebooks. We have class sets of Chromebooks. So each student has a laptop in front of them when they're doing this. So again, we're going to select those. This time we're going to copy paste them into a blended lesson. Now, this is the most important thing. This application called Zeetings. Zeetings is an audience response system. It is free for educators, and honestly, it is a means to control the devices, especially in a BYOD policy where you don't really know what the kids are looking at. Zeetings will help you there. Basically, what's on your screen is going to be what's on the kids' screens, and you can get reports on what they're doing. So go to zeetings.com, get a login, send them an email, say you're an educator, and they'll give you an upgraded login or account, and it's free. Or it was free when I did it, so sorry if it's not anymore. So now what you're going to do is you're going to add content. So you're just going to upload your blended lesson PowerPoint, and then you're going to see the slides pop up in there. It's actually really simple. Then the powerful nature is you're going to add interactive elements. These can be like AFL type stuff, or it can be like these ones, like you can do thumbs up, down. These are built in within Zeetings itself. So you can get multiple choice questions, scales, ranks, text, word cloud, but you can also embed content. So any HTML5 content, you can embed it. So that's a Google form, you can do Google Docs, you can do YouTube's, WordPress, entire blog sites in there if you really wanted to, or Padlets. Padlets are a great little tool for classroom discussion type exercises. So I can't really give you an example because the Zeetings doesn't allow you to do offline. There are other applications, like say Nearpod. I used Nearpod last year, but I honestly found it very limited, especially in the means of quizzing your students. The quiz was pretty terrible. It was just multiple choice, and if you wanted to add an open-ended question, it's an additional slide. And I honestly did not like it that much, and it cost me 99 USD that I was not covered with by my school. So this year, I'm going to be doing Zeetings and blending all my content within Zeetings. Honestly, it's a great app. Go get a login and give it a try for yourself. But that's about it. I'm done. So thank you for listening. And if you're interested, I'll be adding all my flipped lessons to this YouTube channel. So thank you.